And please check out the artists. These are world-class, world touring artists that we're bringing in. And as a special guest playing with Billy Flynn, he'll be here today. Bruce McCabe is on that show also. So thank you to the Blues Society for being a part of promoting blues music in the Twin Cities. We appreciate that, and it's a great show. And there are hotel deals. It's at the Bloomington Hilton in Bloomington. They're right down there on 494. Now there are two of them. It's the one by France Avenue. It's that one, not closer to the airport. Where am I? What's the next one? We have an award for the album of the year, and that is Big Smokey Smothers, That's All Right. And presenting that, and I guess I know he's here, is the one and only Paul Berry, and he'll be accepting that award for the family, Smokey Smothers family. Welcome back, Paul.
Well, thank you, Harold, and big thanks to the Minnesota Blues Society for being what they are, helping promote blues music, keeping the blues alive. The blues is never going to die. It's too much for great classic music, but to keep it thriving and to pass it on to future generations. A big hand to the Minnesota Blues Society and all the great volunteers who work tirelessly to promote blues music and to support the bands in town. So again, thanks to everybody. And congratulations to all my fellow Hall of Fame winners. Rebecca and everybody else today that's getting an award, congratulations. And everybody that got an award on October 7th, that was wanted to congratulate everybody on those awards. Also, this is a kind of a special year for me. I won the, as Rebecca alluded to, I won the award for best blues literature for my book on my good friend William Clark, Blowing Like Hell. And I have the pleasure, he was a mentor to me, and my other mentor in life in blues was Otis Big Smokey Smothers. So this has really been a special year for me. Being able to accept awards and for two great people and two great friends and two great bluesmen. I'd like to introduce everybody to a little bit about Otis Big Smokey Smothers. This is a picture that the great photographer Mark Norberg took of Big Smokey when he was in town one time. I remember going down to Mark's studio and with Big Smokey, and he took this and it's in Mark's book. And Mark was a great photographer, as everybody knows, and he did a lot for the blues community and the blues world by photographing all these great musicians. And thankfully, he was able to photograph Big Smokey when he was in town. So I'd like to introduce you a little bit to who Big Smokey was, in case everybody's unfamiliar with him. Otis Big Smokey Smothers was born in 1929 in Lexington, Mississippi, and moved to Chicago in 1946. And he's part of the Smothers Brothers of the Blues because he has a brother named Abe Smothers, who's referred to as Little Smokey Smothers because he's a little bit shorter than Big Smokey and also a little bit younger. And you might know Abe, Little Smokey, he played with Paul Butterfield. But Big Smokey, who we're honoring today, was a true pioneer of the blues. He toured and recorded with all the greats, Muddy Waters, Little Walter, Howlin' Wolf, and Jimmy Rogers, among many, many others. So he was right in there in the mix of things and really created Chicago blues music as we know it today. He played on many of the 1950s chess recordings, including Howlin' Wolf songs such as I Asked My Baby for Water, and She Gave Me Gasoline, and Who's Been Talking. So a lot of those great 1950s chess recordings, he was on those recordings. In 1960, he recorded under his own name for Federal Records, and it's like one of the classic blues albums of all time. So if you don't have it, it's still available on Amazon. It's called Smokey Smothers Sings the Back Porch Blues. And on that album, he featured a young Freddie King in his backup band. So that's one of the great albums of all times. He never achieved the recognition that he deserved. He was a superb vocalist, guitarist, and songwriter. And he penned many great songs that were recorded by everyone from Muddy Waters to Eric Clapton. He was not, he never got the recognition that he deserved, but he was not resentful or bitter of his peers. And I know there was a Living Blues magazine article on him where he said, not everyone can be president. So by that he meant that he was taking his rightful place, but that he wasn't jealous or resentful of his peers. He was just happy to be one of the pioneers of Chicago blues, and he did it with a lot of humility and grace and kindness. I first met Smokey in 1979 in Chicago. I used to make frequent trips down there with buddies of mine just to visit the blues bars. And I remember the night I met him, we saw Walter Horton and Floyd Jones and Playboy Bob Benson, and Smokey was just in the bar. And I was able to be introduced to him at the time, and we just became really good friends. And he came up here many times and played with my band. We played many gigs together over the years, the Blues Saloon, Union Bar, Crossroads, New Riverside, and even we played at a grade school that my sister taught at. And I remember I said, Smokey, let's play Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. He go, no, we can't play that one. We can't play that one. So he was always thinking ahead, and the kid just loved him. You know, just very, very humble and very kind and honest person. I remember one time that he was checking out of a hotel, and he didn't have a lot of money, but he put all the money, took all the change out of his pocket, and put it on the table for the housekeeper that was coming in to clean the room. And he was just that kind of a person. He spent many days and nights at my parents' house when he came to town. I remember celebrating Easter and Thanksgiving with him. We had a lot of fond memories. And he was a great note writer. He'd always write notes, and I had a big family, 6 children, and my parents were 8. And every single note that he wrote, he always mentioned everybody's name on that note. You know, how's Tom doing? How's Ann doing? How's Patrice doing? So he was just that kind of person that you want to welcome into your house, and just the kind of person that you can call a friend. The CD that we recorded, this was Smokey's last studio recording, and he was in town. We were playing some gigs at the Crossroads Bar, and we went into New Moon Studios, and I'd like to thank Pat Dawson for facilitating this recording. And the recording, we recorded that in 1992, and Smokey passed away in 1993. And this album had sat dormant for many years, and I pulled out a cassette tape of it, I think about maybe 10 years ago. And I thought, this is really great stuff. I wonder if it's still around. And thankfully, the reels were still intact. As a lot of that stuff, when you're doing it live, it gets recorded over, or it gets lost in the shuffle. But luckily, that they were still intact, and I was able to put this CD together. This was Smokey's last studio recording, and got really good reviews from Living Blues and other magazines around the world. So it just made me feel good that I could be part of that. And a lot of the takes we did were single takes, but they just came out really well, just because we had played with Smokey, and we just felt comfortable playing with him, and just kind of all fell together. And on that one Saturday afternoon that we recorded that CD. So on behalf of Big Smokey, I'm honored that he's inducted into Minnesota Blues Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, his daughters, Crystal and Emma, couldn't be here today. But they're very excited about it, and they're keeping Smokey's legend and his music alive, and they're going to be proud to have this nice award on their mantle or somewhere in their house in memory of their father. So on behalf of Big Smokey and Emma and Crystal Smothers, Smokey's daughters, I'm honored to accept this award, and proud to accept it. I'd like to thank the Blues Society for making this award available to Smokey. And again, thank you everybody. And this means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Smokey's family. So thank you very much.
Get that. Thank you, Paul. Oh man, I'm short. Thank you so much, Paul. Yeah, we're way ahead of